Hello, I hope you all can hear me. I see there are currently two people here. So I'm a pit bull. Oh, hello, how are you? I can see you're first. How's your day going? I feel like I've actually missed you guys, even though it's probably only been a month, but I know my last live, I think I cut it short. I think it was only about half an hour, because there were just things that I just needed to sort out. But yeah, I've missed you guys. How are you all doing? Let me know how's your Sunday going. And yeah, what have you been up to? How's just everything going? Just let me know sort of what's happening. And can you let me know if you can hear me as well? Just because I just want to make sure that, you can hear me properly. But I can see, I think three of you are currently on here. But yeah, I just thought, of course, I would go live. So if you are new to my channel and you didn't know, I've started doing lives about once a month. So usually I will try to do it on the last Sunday of the month. And so I realized that actually June came pretty quickly. And so I needed to make sure that I was going to do a live for this Sunday. The only one that I haven't done one for was April, I think. And that was because we were just moving and just sorting things out. So yeah, hopefully I'll be able to do it more often. But let me know sort of, what's your day been like? How's your week been? Are you looking forward to Monday? Are you currently working or you at university? Let me know what is happening. And again, please let me know if you can hear me as well. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video where I was talking about how we managed to save for our wedding. It was just a really exciting video, I think. And yeah, if you guys have got any questions around that, I know a couple of you have asked me to do like a video around our actual budget. So we'll definitely make sure that happens. We just need to work through timelines and stuff. But yeah, looking forward to it. I would say though that we had to do it in the registry first because of all the restrictions. So we've actually had to move the church and the reception to later in the year. But yeah, very exciting. And yeah, I think it's just all very interesting. And that's kind of linked to, I guess, on Instagram when I did a poll. So definitely follow me on Instagram if you don't already. I was asking some of you guys, do you join your finances? Would you join your finances? So let me know, actually, if you're here, would you join your finances with your, significant other, or if you're married, let me know, because I do think it's quite an interesting discussion. Hi, Ifraz. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Nice to see you. And hi, Faith. How are you? How's your Sunday going? What's been happening? Are you looking forward to the week ahead? And be sure to like this video, guys, as well, because it does actually help to support the channel as well. So I know you guys already know that it is free, so please do. And subscribe to my channel as well if you haven't already. But yeah, we are actually in our new place. So if you didn't know, we are currently renting this area. So we are still living in London, and the rent is, I'm going to tell you guys just so you guys know, but you'll probably see it in our budget videos, but the rent is about £1,050. So yes, quite pricey, and it's only for a one-bedroom flat. So yeah, that's a little bit out of the price range. Well, not out of the price range, because we knew it was probably going to be around £1,000. But yeah, it just shows that London is so expensive. But it's just based on sort of where my partner works, and then also where I work as well. It just made sense, especially when it comes to things like commuting as well. So I don't know if like some of you guys are maybe going back to the office if you are currently working. So it'd be interesting to know if you guys are going to be doing that. I mean, I know that we've started having conversations around going back to the office. So again, that means that I'm going to have to work out how that, I don't know how that works out. But yeah, that's really exciting. But how are you guys? I can see that 9 of us are currently joining together. So let me know how you're doing. Miss GB Bright, hello. Hope you're doing well. How's your Sunday going? But yeah, in terms of like actually finding this place as well, it was really stressful. And I don't know if I mentioned this on my last live, but this is why I always say, guys, just make sure you always check your finances, because even just trying to get through and offer places, which I didn't even know that you actually made offers when it came to renting places. But for this place, we had, I think, either about 7 or 8 other people that made an offer to come into this place, and so we managed to get it, honestly, by God's grace, to be honest. So yeah, it's just been really competitive. And even if you look at like the housing market, like people trying to buy houses as well, it's been absolutely crazy. So, it's an interesting time. But yeah, I didn't think that the same would be happening with renting, but very similar situation is happening with renting. Sunday's going good, lazy day. Oh, glad to hear it. And I don't know if you're like from the UK, but it's just nice when you can see the daylight and it just seems really bright at the moment, which I honestly really love. So yeah, it's been a good day for me as well. I think I actually spent the part of the morning with church, and then I ended up filming as well. So I filmed about 2 videos, so that's for Tuesday and Friday. And then we also cooked, so we actually started to make our lunch for the week. So again, I think that's something that I want to do, or maybe talk about in the future, in terms of like what our food budget is like now that we're married, because it is different. The main reason is because obviously you guys will know that I tend to probably spend about 15 to 16 pounds a week on food. There is no way we were going to do that when we got married, especially because my husband does eat a lot more than me. So I kind of have to navigate through that. So we do spend a bit more, but actually what we spend isn't that bad from what I feel. I feel like we don't spend that much. And actually, because we shop at Aldi as well, because we have an Aldi near us, which I'm very, very thankful for, because we don't actually have a Lidl near us, we're able to actually save a bit of money there. Although you do have to pay £1 for parking, which I never used to do in like my old area. So I'm not particularly happy about that. But actually, even if you were to spend £1 during when you're going to park your car, it's still going to end up being cheaper for me compared to like going to Tesco or something. So it's all right. Looking forward to your chat. Oh, so am I. Hello, Anas. Yes, I'm from the UK, near Heathrow. Oh, okay. So you were probably slightly near me when I was going to work. But yeah, I've kind of moved from that area now. But yeah, I've kind of forgotten what I was saying. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. What do you guys like want to know? Just let me know how, like, are there any questions that you want to know? If it's anything to do with like wedding planning, or like actually moving, or like our current budget at the moment, because we actually ended up joining our finances. So I might do like a separate video on that in terms of how we actually join our finances, if you guys are interested. If you're not interested, just let me know, because it's fine. But yeah, let me know if there's any topics that you want me to cover. The only thing that I have been thinking of is about this like £10 weekly food budget that you guys got me to do. So obviously I love doing them, but at the moment, there is no way my husband is going to eat on £10 a week. It's just not happening. So I just need to, I guess, navigate how I can do that. It might be that I have to like do his food shopping separately, and then just like maybe we just make the meals then, and then I just do like a £10 a week separate food budget. But I wouldn't like do that all the time anyway. I'd literally do it like once a month. So we'll see. But if you guys are still interested in those videos, definitely let me know, because I will try to do them in the future. Your last video on the UK take on baby steps was amazing. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it's been an interesting one, because I think there's obviously been a lot of political stuff, I guess, with Dave Ramsey. So I wasn't really focusing on that. I was literally just focusing on the baby steps. And there's always a heated debate, I would say, with the baby steps. But again, I would say, everything always depends on your personal circumstances. I mean, there are going to be things that people don't agree with, that people do agree with. Like, for example, I know that Dave absolutely hates credit cards, and he doesn't want anyone to use a credit card. Whereas for me, I actually don't mind using a credit card as long as you know how to use it properly. Because if you're going to go into credit card debt, then no, I would say do not use a credit card, please. But yeah, again, it's just really going to depend on, I guess, who you are. I think his audience, like when you hear the calls, a lot of them do really struggle with like a high amount of debt. So I can kind of see why he says not to have a credit card. But I do feel like if you've improved on your financial literacy and you know actually how to use a credit card properly, then personally, I don't really see anything wrong with it. But again, it's going to depend on the person, to be honest. Stanley, you're doing great work, Veronia. Keep it up. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's It's really interesting that I don't know, it feels like it's been ages, but it has actually been more than a year since I started my first YouTube video, which if you guys go and look at that, it's really embarrassing, like really embarrassing. But I didn't know how to edit. I didn't like, it was the first time I was talking, to a camera. I think now that I'm used to it, but it's so interesting seeing the process, because even if you look at my wedding video, like with my husband Yinka, you could see that he wasn't used to the camera, and so it kind of took me back, because it really does take time to get used to the camera and actually be able to talk to the camera, and also look at the lens as well. I mean, I know sometimes I struggle to look at the lens here because like my camera is like all the way up here, but when I'm actually looking at the lens and doing my videos, like that also takes practice. So yeah, it's been an amazing year. There's been ups and downs, but it's been great. And yeah, I've loved doing videos. I've loved getting to know you guys as well. So yeah, I do actually really enjoy these lives as well. So make sure that, well, if you like, please be sure to join me on future lives as well, because I'd really love that. And yeah, make sure you comment so I can get to know you guys as well. I have been binge watching your videos since 2 days ago. Love your channel. Thank you so much, Obadiah. That's always so nice to hear, especially like when people tell me that my videos are actually useful and they're learning things as well. It's just always nice to hear. And it gives you that motivation when there's times where I haven't edited my video and like it's due the next day and I'm like, I know I need to make sure I edit it. So yeah, times can be tough, I think, at that point, because especially when you have like work the next day as well, but you still have to finish editing, because it takes me quite a while. But my husband has actually been helping me with editing, which has been an absolute godsend for me, because it just means that I have a bit more time just to do other stuff. So yeah, I really appreciated that. More budgeting videos would be greatly appreciated, and tips for getting out of debt and saving for your first home. Really good point. Yeah, I noticed that budgeting videos can be quite popular on my channel. There are some things that I want to do actually, which I have been thinking about, is just if like some of you guys, I don't know how I would do this, but actually going through your own budgets. So if you like sent me through your budget, I could actually walk through, what I would do. Or if you sent me through like all of your expenses, I could walk through like how I would actually budget. It's something I've been thinking about. I don't know if you guys would be interested in that, so definitely let me know, in the comments. But I think that would be an interesting one, because I do see like other personal finance influencers, what they'll do is they'll do like a reaction video to people that actually do their budget online. But what I'm thinking is, could I actually ask you guys to send through your budget or send through your like expenses, and then I actually walk through how I would budget or like scrutinize it and like help you guys out. So I think that might be quite a good thing to do, but let me know yeah, if you find that useful. I do have a couple of videos on like getting out of debt, but I think I could probably do more, and those ones, they're quite old actually, because I think I did them last summer. So I do think I need to do like a couple of paying off debt videos, because yeah, it took me a while to do mine, and actually it just helps with motivation. And even if things are like repeated as well, it just consistently keeps making you think that, okay, I know I need to pay off my debt, and I know that I'm like not the only one going through it. So yeah, I'll definitely do that. And of course, yeah, saving up for your first home as well, I think that's something that I can do. How are you feeling about combining finances with your husband? Oh, Deborah. So we had this conversation way before we got married, because I was currently, obviously you guys know that I was like paying off my debt. I was saving money. So I was going through all of this stuff, and I was like, okay, so if we get married, like what kind of happens then? So we had already had the conversation. So I already knew that I wanted to combine our finances, and that was mainly just because, I don't know, with marriage, I kind of just see us as one. So for me, it kind of just made sense to combine it. What we have sort of looked at, and I think we're kind of transitioning, is, do you have like separate spending areas? So I think I do want to do like a more detailed video on it, but I would say like, at least basically we have combined everything, but I will probably do a separate video talking through it in a bit more detail, if that makes sense. But it's definitely a process. I mean, we started with actually putting money into a pot for like the wedding, for example. So for us, the transition was a bit easier to combine finances because we'd already started putting money together. But some people might not want to do it that way. They may want to have it completely separate until they get married. That's also an option as well. So again, it's going to really depend on your own personal circumstances, which I feel like I say a lot, but it's true. Yes, I have a question. I'm planning to buy my first car and I'm saving for a house deposit as well at the same time. How much do you think is reasonable for a first car, cash or finance? Many thanks. Yeah, Faith, really interesting question. So for me, yeah, I would probably not go for a very new car, very new. And the only reason why it's not, I'm not giving financial advice, by the way. I'm just saying what I would personally do. But the only reason why I say that is because cars will depreciate like crazy. Like it's actually mad how much they can depreciate. So for me, I tend to try and look at cars that are maybe like 2 to 3 years old. So they have already started depreciating in value, but they are still relatively new, so that it's something where you're probably not going to need to maintain it very much. Because with my first car, my old car, I think that was like 10 years old or something. I don't even remember like how long, but I had so many things that I needed to pay for because I needed to fix it. And like my MOT would fail and things like that. And it was so annoying. And so I ended up basically bleeding cash because of it. Whereas my other car, before it got crashed into, I think I was about 2 years old from when I bought it. The only thing is, obviously, I bought that on finance, which I definitely would not recommend now. But if I had, I probably would have got the same car, but I would have paid cash for it. So personally, that's probably what I would do. So I would, maybe try and see if there's a car like 2 to 3 or 4 years old where that it's still going to be quite useful. But yeah, if you can pay cash for a bit, I would definitely recommend it. And just try and have like a goal in terms of, okay, how much are you saving per month? And is that are you going to save up for the car first and then save up for the house? Or are you going to do 2 at the same time? Just think about your priorities with that as well. I'm a spender and I'm trying to stop and get my finances in order. Your videos have helped me greatly. I always look forward to them. Oh, thank you. That's so great to know. Actually, from that, I do have a video coming out on Tuesday where it's a little bit different. It's more about like some of the common questions that I get, because I realize I do get quite a few questions, whether it's on like Instagram DMs or people commenting on my videos. So I thought I may as well just put a video all together and just, I guess, like explain some of those questions or just give my answers. But with that, I'm also going to be doing like a questionnaire that you guys might be able to fill out if you're interested. It's just because I'm going to be developing a program just specifically for people that feel like they maybe spend a lot more money than they're supposed to be and they're struggling to save money, or maybe they don't really understand the concept of investing and things like that. So if you're interested, definitely make sure you check out that video, because that survey will link to that. And I'm actually going to be giving a free call up to 5 people as well to actually go through their assessment. So definitely make sure you check that video out on Tuesday. Deborah, do you believe women should be financially independent, e.g. the breadwinner? So these are probably 2 different questions. So I would say, so the first one, do you believe women should be financially independent? I believe everyone should be financially independent, honestly, to be honest. No matter what your background is, I think everyone should be financially independent, just because I think that you will have that peace of mind knowing that if you lost your income, whether that's your job or whatever it is, you know that your bills are being paid for. And I think everyone needs that, because I think that's probably what's going to stop us from then going into debt, for example, if we did lose our income or just kind of having problems like that. And especially when you look at the pandemic and everything that happened last year, you can see that actually if majority of people were financially independent, then we probably wouldn't have gone into things like a recession, or things just wouldn't have been as bad financially, at least. So I do think it's something that's really, really important and that everyone should be striving for. In terms of your example about being the breadwinner, I don't know whether you mean, do you believe women should be the breadwinner? I don't know if that's the question. So just let me know, and yeah, clarify on that. That's great. Dave Ramsey always advised married couples who combine their finances as it's best for winning in all aspects of life. Yeah, for me, it just kind of made sense for us to combine our finances. I mean, we'd already spoken about our finances. I mean, as in like a lot of you guys will know that even my husband, before we even got married, he knew that I had, my debt, and he knew that I basically had no savings at all, whilst he did have savings. So yeah, I kind of just let him know everything, and yeah, we kind of just shared everything. So I think because of that, because we'd had that conversation, it was a lot easier for us to just combine finances. So now that we know that our money is just our money, I don't really necessarily see it as like this is my money, this is his money, apart from things like spending and stuff. So yeah, but again, it's gonna depend on how you view it. It's gonna depend on just other factors, and whether you have like other assets before the marriage and things like that. So yeah, I think it just depends on the person. Hi, Veronia, I came late. Hello, Eva. I was like, Eva, I haven't seen you yet. So I was thinking, like, is Eva going to be joining today? Yes, women should be financially independent. My grandma told me that a woman should always have her own money. Even if she is at home, she should keep it aside for herself. Yeah, that's an interesting one. And actually, on my Instagram stories, when I did that poll, because I did ask people, like, do you think you should combine finances, or would you combine finances? A lot of people actually came to me and they were basically saying that they think that women should have, their own emergency fund, or they should have their own money on the side. I think it's just a really interesting one. For me, I think where the problem lies is that sometimes when people do get married, sometimes you may find that, unfortunately, the woman hasn't really learned about financial education, and so she doesn't necessarily deal with the money. So I think that's probably where the problem lies. I think for us, it's a bit different in that when we came together, like, we make the decisions in terms of like what happens with our money. So like, I will know what happens with the money and he will know. So I think that's why it's a little bit different. And I do wonder whether you would need to have like your own stash if both of you kind of had that financial literacy and both of you were sort of helping to make those decisions, or actually just working through it. I don't know. Let me know what you think as well, because it's something that I have heard of. I agree, everyone should be financially independent, especially now where many people are single nowadays. Yeah, I think to be honest, for me, it's a goal for everyone, and I think it's just so important. And I think and that's why I think I try to encourage you guys, like, don't just think about spend like what you're spending in terms of today's money. Like, think about what's happening long term, because if you are looking for financial independence, if that's your main goal, you need to think about how your decision is going to impact your future goals and things like that. So yeah, I think it's a really important topic that we don't really tend to talk a lot about, actually. Like, even the term financial independence, if I said that at work, I'm pretty sure people would be looking at me like I'm crazy. They'd be like, well, what are you talking about? So yeah, it's interesting, because I only kind of heard about the term when I was like going through this personal finance journey. I'd never heard of it before. So yeah, it's something we definitely need to talk about more often. Yes, Eva, I'm reading Think Like a Breadwinner at the moment, and it talks a lot about women knowing how to run the finances and not be dependent on their partner. Such an interesting read. Yeah, I think it's so interesting. And I think that's why, particularly for women, like, I'm one of those people where I feel like I have like this drive to really like encourage women to focus on their finances, not just to like have their own money, for example, in marriage, but for me, it's just so that all women can like have that financial foundation and they know exactly what they need to do when it comes to their finances. Because again, in the personal finance space, you don't tend to see a lot of women. I mean, even when I started doing videos, I didn't really see a lot of women talking about personal finance. So I think it's just a conversation where we just need to talk about money a lot more often. And I know it can be scary as well, especially if you haven't learned about it, but I'm telling you, like, you can honestly do it. So I think that's why I do like have this passion for women, because I'm like, yeah, we need to start talking about money more often, and not even just budgeting and saving our money. I think that's what I found is, like, even though like I attract probably a lot of women coming to my channel, a lot of them are interested in like budgeting and saving, but like you also need to know how to grow your money as well, and that's going to be through investing most of the time. So I'm trying to get you guys to actually transition to think about, yes, budgeting and saving your money, but also I want you guys to start thinking about investing your money as well, because that's really going to be where the real wealth is made. So yeah, that's kind of where my passion is. So yeah, I don't know if you can tell that, but it's a really important topic to me, to be honest. How have you tiptoed the line between planning the wedding you've always dreamed of, but being sensible financially and sticking to the budget you've set? Yeah, it's a really interesting question. I don't know if I'm the best person to answer this, just because I didn't really have a dream big wedding. All I kind of wanted was just to, I guess, have the day. I think it was just because I was going through this journey. If it was before, I definitely would have been like wanting to plan like a big dream wedding and like have everything. But I think because I went through this personal finance journey and I realized that some people that do end up having the dream wedding, well, number one, just because you have a dream wedding doesn't mean you're going to have an amazing marriage. And also number two, a lot of people that have the dream wedding, they end up being in debt because they can't afford to pay for that wedding. And so when they've had the wedding and it's all well and good and they've come back from the honeymoon, they've now got 20, 30 grand in debt. Like they're in debt because of that wedding. And so I didn't really want to have that. And I think I just kept thinking long term, like, what do I want to do in the future? Do I want to be financially independent? Is that something that I care about more than having a big wedding? So yeah, I think you just got to think about your priorities, and again, try and find alternatives as well. So we were able to still like find a hall, like, and I think we didn't really break the bank, but there were just certain things that we didn't pay for that made it a lot more expensive. So like even things like looking at like the venue that you might use, we were just looking at ones that, okay, if it's going to be catered, is that going to be more expensive than having self-catering and bringing your own caterer in? And when we crunched the numbers, we realized that the latter was probably cheaper. So we did things like that. And then obviously, like we mentioned in the video, things like DIYs, like our own centerpieces, that saved us a lot of money. So you can still try to find alternatives, and I think still end up having your dream wedding as well. But maybe in the like budget video, I'll even talk about things like the dress, because even that was, yes, something that I did not want to pay a lot of money for. But yeah, we'll probably either talk about that in the budget video, or maybe we'll do like a separate video on that. At my grandma's time, women couldn't have their own bank accounts and women were staying at home. She learned very early that a man could leave you with the kids and no money. Yeah, again, I think this topic has always been coming around, Eva, I think, and it's just, again, I do feel like everyone needs to be financially educated, and even just, yeah, as women, we also need to be financially educated. It's so important. So yeah, that's why I encourage you guys, like, read books, watch content. You can watch my YouTube videos and things like that. So yeah, hopefully I can help out in some way. I know you use Excel for your budgeting. What other apps do you use to help keep you track of your money and spending? So in terms of the apps, I don't use a particular budgeting app like You Need a Budget. I've heard that that's a really good app to use. But what I will do is I will basically put all my spending in my Monzo account, and that has my budget. So that's really what I help to track it. So basically I use my spreadsheet to say, okay, this is how I plan like what my money's doing for the month. And then I will take my spending bit, because I know that all my bills are being paid for, like my sinking funds are being paid for. But I'll take my spending and I'll take my sinking funds, and then I'll transfer that into my Monzo account. So I keep my bills in a separate account just because for me it's cleaner, it's easier, and it means that I can literally just budget my spending and I can just track and see how I'm doing, because things like my essential bills, they're not really going to change, to be honest. So I kind of use that, and it has like a little budget, and it tells you like, oh, you're probably going to go under budget, or you're probably going to be over budget, and things like that. So I find that really useful. And then obviously I have my sinking funds in like different pots on Monzo. So if you've got a Monzo account, I think they're quite good, to be honest. I do wish I got sponsored by Monzo. So if Monzo ever watches this, then you know, one day you can sponsor me, because I don't actually work with companies at the moment. It's just something I choose not to do, just because I obviously want to gain like the trust of my audience first. But I'm not going to lie, if Monzo wanted to sponsor me, because I've spoken about Monzo plenty of times for free. So I'm just saying, Monzo, if you ever want to sponsor me, then I'm here. Good evening all. Hi Free Trade 2. Hope you're doing well. How's your Sunday going? Let me know. Totally agree with you, Veronia. Everyone should be financially independent, and then when they meet their life partners, then they can bring something together to the table and then add to each other. Exactly, 100%. I think it's a team at the end of the day. I don't think it should be like an either or. I feel like everyone should be working towards this goal, and if you do decide to get married, then you come together and you work towards that goal. My wife doesn't touch her investments and is outperforming me. I fiddle with my investments. Yeah, I'm not going to say anything, but I would just say that we were in a similar position in terms of, because he also has his own ISA and so I have my ISA. I would just say that research shows that women are better investors. He's sitting here, so I'm not going to say anything, but I will say that women are better investors. In terms of the research, I'm not actually saying that, but the research shows. Congratulations again on your marriage. It's great that you did your big day within your budget. I had an ex-colleague who was still paying off for their weddings 5 years after the actual wedding. Wow. Yeah, 5 years. For me, it's not worth it. Like, guys, it's one day. It's 1 day. Like, as much as it could be like your dream and things like that. Just remember, it's 1 day. So it's just always important to put that into perspective, because I would not want to be paying for my wedding for 5 years. Like, I think it took me a few months. Like, it took me a few months to save up the cash. But then once I was done. Like, that was it. So rather than 5 years, yeah, that's a long time. But yeah, that's why I just think it's so important just to think about your goals, think about other things as well, especially like if you're looking to save up for a house at the same time. You need to think about, okay, is your priority going to be getting on the property ladder and actually getting your first house, or is your priority going to be, the wedding day? I don't know if you guys have watched this show on Netflix. I think it's called Mortgage or Marriage. So I've seen a couple of episodes, and it's quite interesting seeing who picks what. And you see some couples picking the mortgage because they're they want to settle down. But then actually some people end up picking the marriage, as in the wedding day, instead. So yeah, I do find that quite interesting. Just seeing the difference, especially because in the US, their houses, they're so big, and what they can actually get for the same or a similar amount here is honestly mad to me. So yeah, I was surprised when some people picked the wedding, but maybe that's just me. I don't know, maybe I'm weird. Yes, the research says that women don't like in general to invest because of the fear of losing money, but once they decide to do it, they end up being better investors than men. Yeah, again, that's what I found. I think a lot of people, particularly women that come to me, do have this fear, but then I've actually spoken to people that do invest, and then they're actually doing a lot. They're doing quite well, to be honest. And I think I always say investing doesn't have to be complicated. It can be. It's as complicated as you make it to be. So if you want to be a very, very passive investor, you obviously do have to put in initial work just to understand, what you're investing into. But once you've done that, you can literally set and forget, and then that's it. You just let your investments do its thing. So yeah, it's always quite interesting. Women generally go for stable investments. Some of my friends, women, invest in real estate and have done pretty well. Okay, as one of them says to me, one house at a time. Yeah, again, it's just always going to depend on someone else's journey, and we're all different. I mean, we all have different risk tolerances. I know that some people maybe comment and say oh, you should be investing in more risky investments because you have the time. But I'm literally I know what my risk tolerance is. So I'm going to invest based on my risk tolerance and based on how I know I'm going to feel if, for example, my investments dropped or if they increased or whatever. So yeah, I think you just need to know yourself, and you need to know what your risk tolerance is like. And that's when you can then start to think about, okay, what can you potentially invest in? So yeah, start to know yourself. There's risk tolerance questionnaires as well. If you guys haven't done that, just do a Google search and you'll be able to find it. But yeah, hopefully that helps. And I want to see, hopefully, some of you guys investing soon. Obviously, once you've set your financial foundation, I wouldn't really start investing thousands of pounds in the stock market if I've got high interest debt. I wouldn't do that personally. So again, set your financial foundation, but once you're ready, hopefully, figure out what you need to do. And I would encourage you to see if you can start learning about investing at least. Coming from a low income background, it does seem financial freedom is kind of, it does seem that financial freedom is kind of out of reach for me, but your videos are changing my mind. Yeah, honestly, I think a lot of people either have like an income problem or they have a spending problem. So if you do find that you're from a low income, and obviously I don't know how low your income is, there are going to be different ways that you can do it. Obviously, the first one is seeing if you can increase your income. So if you can do that within, like, if you're working in your job, can you increase your income by like going to your employer, asking them, why am I being paid this much, or even finding a new job. Again, that's another thing. Like, I think people think that they just need to stay in that with their employer for years and years and years, when that's not the case. Actually, when you look at the competitive market, you're probably going to get more money going to another company, personally, from my perspective. But again, it's going to depend on what's happening. So like, for example, in my case, it might be that your employer decides to pay for like a qualification so that you can then end up getting paid more by the time you finish the qualifications. There's things like that. There's also things like what I did. So I decided to stay in a house of multiple occupations, so I didn't need to pay that much rent. Or if you can live with your parents, that's also a possibility. But again, it's trying to just increase your income as much as you can, and then whilst doing that, also reducing your expenses, and then you can start to save. But really, a lot of the times it's going to be based on time being the best benefit for you as well, because the younger you are, the less you have to actually invest. And so it means that you could potentially not even invest that much money every single month. But by the time you reach an age, let's say if you're trying to be financially independent by 50, for example, you might find that you don't actually have to invest much and you can still become financially independent. So yeah, there's a lot of factors, that's going to be involved. But I would say that, even if you do have a low income, there are some things that I think can help you to actually start to accelerate your progress towards financial independence. Financial freedom is for everyone. You have to increase your income, as Veronia says, through education and side hustles. Yeah, exactly. Don't increase your expenses and be constant and delay gratification. Yeah, I would definitely agree. Even if you can do like a side hustle, try and make some money on the side. So no matter what that is, whether it's like an online business or just anything, or freelancing or things like that, if you can try to increase your income and still limit your expenses, I think that will really help. So yeah, I'm hoping that will help you out. But yeah, let me know if you've got any questions with that. But yeah, in fact, I actually did ask on my Instagram, I did do a poll asking some of you guys, like, if you do currently have an online business, or I think it was more like a business, or if you would like to start one. So I'm keen to know from you guys if that's something that you've thought about doing, or is it something where you've just not really had an interest in? Let me know, because I've just found it interesting, even though it's been quite new for me. So obviously I started this YouTube channel a year ago now, like end of May. But actually making it into a business has been very, very new to me. I mean, I even ended up like hiring a coach as well, so shout out to my coach Emily. But yeah, it's just a really interesting concept. But I think it's something where more people are starting to do it, because I think for me, I'm now at the point where I know that I can save a decent amount of money and I can invest a decent amount of money. But if my income doesn't really move necessarily with my 9-to-5 job, how can I accelerate, getting to financial independence quickly? And so with that, I do think like having a side hustle and increasing your income that way has really started to help me think about how I can accelerate it quicker. So be keen to know if you guys are thinking about starting an online business or any business with that, or if it's just something where you're not interested in. I don't have an online business. I thought about it, but it doesn't really attract me, and I don't know why. Yeah, it's an interesting one, I think. And I think because there are so many different avenues you can go through, I think it can maybe feel overwhelming. So obviously the platform I went with was YouTube, and I have no idea. I don't really know why I chose YouTube. I think it was just because I thought I could talk on camera, because I used to do drama at school. So maybe that's why. And so I thought I'd be comfortable on camera. But you know, you have people that don't like things like video at all, and maybe they would write a blog instead and things like that. So it's just, I guess, finding what your passion is. Eva, I feel like personal finance is like a very good niche that you could potentially go into, because you're quite knowledgeable around that. So that might be something you potentially think about. But I think it's probably just thinking about the avenues that you might want to go through. Like, for example, would you want to do like video content? Would you want to do like a content-based business? Or if you'd want to do like a service-based business, so where you're actually selling your services instead? There are different things you can get into. So yeah, it might be something to think about. I have a spending problem. I'm single and spending about £300 on food shopping alone. But your videos have helped me greatly, and I'm obsessed with budgeting and tracking my spending. Is that £300 a month? Because that's quite a lot. £300. Can I ask what you're spending that money on? Because I can't imagine myself spending £300 a month. And are you cooking as well? Like, do you buy food to cook, or is that mainly takeaways? Oh wow. Yeah, like is that mainly takeaways, or is that like the supermarkets that you're going to? I'd be interested to know. I'm glad you chose YouTube. Oh, thank you. I'm happy that I chose YouTube, and I think I get to have more of a connection with you guys. So is it the types of food, or like the places that you're going to? Because yeah, £300 is quite a lot, especially if it's just you. I mean, I don't know. I was like, when it was just me, I was spending like £65, I think, 65 to 80, depending on how many weeks in the month. But yeah, definitely less than £100 a month, I would say. So yeah, no. Let me know if it's like the different supermarkets, or is it because you have like different varieties in terms of your meals every single day, because even like with our current budget, we actually have variety now. Like, obviously you guys know that I will eat the same meal every single day happily, but my husband won't do that. So I've actually had to think about ways that we can, you know, change up the meals throughout the week. But actually it still hasn't broken the bank, so you know, I'm not too fussed with that. I think it's the type of food I'm choosing. Yeah, I mean, I would probably go to places like, if you can, like Lidl and Aldi, because you'd be surprised at how much you can buy, and they do really have some premium stuff as well. So that's definitely something you might want to take into consideration. But yeah, I find that even though I buy like if there's times where I've like forgotten about like, or like if there's times where I'm like, oh, actually, I think I need this, and I'll just take it from the store in Lidl, and I feel like, oh my gosh, I'm going to overspend by so much money. I don't end up overspending because things are quite affordable. So if you can go to Lidl and Aldi, I would definitely recommend it. Hello, integrated. Is it purgatory? Because I do, like, I always think like, how do you pronounce like your username? But hello, yes. How are you doing? How's your Sunday going? Hope you are well. £300 is not including my takeaway. Oh my gosh. Okay, so yeah, what we're gonna need to do, I feel like maybe this will probably be like another video topic, is actually looking through like food budgets and actual budgets. I feel like, okay, we need to be doing this video where I actually look at people's budgets, because yeah, £300 is a lot of money, and I think Auntie B wouldn't be particularly happy with that. So yeah, maybe I would try to give you a goal, actually, if you could spend £200 next month. Try to spend £200 next month, and let me know in the next live how you do. So I'm giving you a goal, £200. The month hasn't started, so I'm talking July. Actually, let's start from tomorrow, Monday, £200. And I actually think that's quite a good thing. That's quite a good deal. So let me know if you accept it, and tell me how it goes in the next live, because I'd like to know. But yeah, great. So I do think I'm gonna leave it now. So unless any of you guys have any burning questions, because if not, I will be meeting you guys again next month, hopefully. So probably around the end of the month. I think 7 p.m. is a good time. I think from what I can see in the poll, most of you guys liked 7 p.m. So yeah, I think we'll probably keep it for then. Yes, a challenge is quite great. Yeah, I think we will I probably start thinking about how I do the challenge. probably need to think about like logistics and like how people can send me their budgets and things like that. But I do think that would be quite good. And yeah, I'll definitely try and see if I can do a few more budgeting videos. But let me know like what you guys actually want, like in terms of topics as well. And even like in terms of budgeting, what are you interested in? Is it like the different types of budgeting that you can do, or like how you would actually, you know, how I would actually budget my money and things like that? Let me know. And yeah, I think I will leave it for now. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Remember to give this video a thumbs up because it does really help, and subscribe if you haven't already. Again, enjoy your dinner. Can hear it. Oh, sorry. Yeah, well, I think my husband's like, yeah, put stuff on the fire. Sorry. Now's my time to go because yeah, it is dinner time. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy your evening and we will speak soon. Bye.